and he just told me out of nothing, "What are you doing? Like, this is not you." And I felt
Mm.
that was God speaking through him. So it's so impressive the amount of love he has for us. That even though we fail him, even though we may be led astray, you're never too far off to come to him.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to a new episode for Finding Purpose, where we dive deep into navigating loss and how to find purpose during those losses. Today, I'm joined with a good friend of mine, Carlos Cely. He's not only a good friend of mine, but he's someone that I've generally learned a lot from his experiences, and he's someone who's also very connected to his faith, and I've learned a lot from him as well. And I'm sure you guys will learn a lot today. I'm your host, Tulio Hidalgo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. I hope that you can take something away and that you can apply it to your own life. So, Carlos, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you, Tulio. Like, I really appreciate the invitation, and yeah, let's give it a go.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It really means a lot. I think our time is one of the most valuable things that we have.
Yep.
And I think the way we use that time is so important. And so I'm really grateful that you decided to invest your time today to be here to talk about some interesting topics that can hopefully, help us as we talk and help those who watch. Every morning when I drive here, when I drive to school, I always pass by a cemetery, and I always look and I always give thanks to God because I'm like, okay, I'm still here, I'm alive, so let me do everything in my power to kind of fulfill my purpose. Like, okay, I'm still here, and there's people that aren't anymore. Tell us more about yourself and a bit of your background. Where did you grow up and who you are today?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, my name is Carlos, as you already mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, I was born here, but actually, like a few months later, I was already in Colombia. So I was raised in Colombia, and after graduating in high school, I spent a year helping my parents, working with them. And after that, I took the decision that I really and truly wanted to go like out of Colombia,
Mm.
like taking the advantage that I was born here. I wanted to come here, like live the American dream. My mom at first didn't really wanted me to leave, so that was kind of a struggle.
Mm.
But after that, like I took the leap. I took a leap of faith, and I came here. And honestly, has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Mm. And so when you say that, you were motivated to come here to kind of fulfill that American dream, like what do you mean by that?
Well, like at first, I didn't truly know what it was, but
Mm.
mostly like I like the opportunity that I would have here with the universities here.
Mm.
Like at the end of the day, the reputation that universities have in Colombia is not as good as the ones here. Yeah, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. So I just thought like that would definitely give me a leg up in my career. And I didn't really see myself staying in Colombia. Like I was trying to check which cities would I like or where would I want it to go, but I didn't really match up. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you came because if not, we would have never met, man. So
So
that's cool. And so now you mentioned like there was some sort of tension before you moved here, and you mentioned your mom. How did you navigate through that like tension? Through that because obviously it's a drastic change.
yeah.
From Colombia to the U.S. So it wasn't. It's both that tension with that you had to navigate with your mother, but then obviously that change of country.
Yep.
How did you navigate through that?
So well, the tension
Yeah.
with my mom first, it was mostly because she didn't want me to go overseas. Like she was scared. Like I'm the youngest
Oh.
and I'm the only male. So I had three older sisters and I was the last to leave my house. So she was
Mm.
scared. She didn't really want me to go. Like I
Yeah,
love
she
her,
was like, no,
but yeah,
this is
exactly.
very smart.
She was trying to grab onto me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I truly knew what I wanted. So I made sure like she understood that part, and yeah, thankfully she was able to
Mm.
understand and respect it, and also help me in like guide me through the process as well. Like I'm really
Mm.
grateful about it. At the beginning, it was a bit of a friction
Yeah.
because yeah, she didn't want me to go, but at the end, it worked.
Eventually, she let you fly.
Yep.
You know, and so and then the other side of it is getting used to a new culture, getting used to a new country. How was that for you?
Well, at the beginning, it was really tough because I knew English because I studied in a bilingual school,
Mm.
and I used to like watch a lot of TV in English, like movies and all that, and listen to music in English. So I made sure like my English would always be sharpened, and that really gave me a really good advantage once I was here. But when you get here, people don't speak the same English you study.
Mm.
So you don't really get to connect with people that easily. Like it's a bit harder. But the advantage in Miami is that there's a lot of Latinos.
Oh, there's a lot of Latinos. Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that I could easily just speak Spanish, which was good. But funny enough, I never found anyone from Colombia at first.
Mm.
So I had to really get to know different types of cultures, and it was awesome. It was a great experience, honestly.
Yeah, man, I'm sure of it. Miami does have a lot of culture, a lot of different variety of people from different backgrounds. What would you say is important to you in your life? Which is basically what are your values and why?
It's not
So,
always been this way, but as a matter of growth, I think our values always like tend to like mold in a way. So right now, like one of the most important things for me is God. Honestly, my faith plays a large role in my life, and it's been growing. Like, it's not always been this like this. I've realized how much it gives me rather than takes from me when I put God first.
mm,
And yeah, after that, I'm trying to keep on learning um, what the Bible teaches me, like love your neighbor as thyself. So yeah, it's
yeah.
more of a growing process. And after that, my family. I love my family. I love them with all of my heart. But yeah, it's still been hard to be far from them, but still, I have them in my heart every time.
I'm sure of it. How did you come to find God?
Okay. So this is testimony time. um, well, at first, I was always raised in a Catholic family. I was raised in the faith, but I didn't truly ever had a relationship with Jesus.
Mm,
So I never truly gave my life to him. It was more of a religion type of thing. Because I feel like we can all get caught up in just religion,
mm,
but what Jesus truly wants is your heart. He's after your heart. He's not after your religion. So it's more of having a relationship with him than try to name it in a way with Catholic, Christian,
mm,
Protestant, like all of those denominations. After all, like all that matters is that you truly have a relationship with Jesus, and yeah, you have basically he has given you a book, well, not a book, a collection of books to guide your whole life on and to gain knowledge. Like
mm.
the amount of knowledge there's in the Bible, it's just impressive every single time I get to read it.
So you grew up in a Catholic
Yeah.
home, but you mentioned you weren't generally hadn't given your heart to Jesus, and so what was that moment for you that you decided, all right, Jesus, I'm gonna give you my heart, my life, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So, well, it took part on me actually striving to leave my house and get out of my comfort
Mm,
zone, like break that bubble.
yeah,
So once I did it and it came here, I went through different struggles trying to adapt myself, trying to, it's like getting my identity
mm,
because I feel like we all go through those processes and like
yeah,
we sharpen our
yeah,
identity.
totally.
I bet you have gone through it. Like we all have gone through those processes that really sharpen us and define us. So at first, I was trying to just make friends, getting along with people, and I realized what I liked and what I didn't.
Mm.
And until a point, I actually got into stoicism.
Mm.
I think I told you about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah.
love stoicism.
Yeah, I
It's
love it.
great philosophy.
Yeah, but I took like the dark side of it in a way. It's not like the
Mm.
dark, but I just it speaks about really just anything. Nothing affects you unless you let it affect you,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets you so cold hearted that you can actually just don't care about a lot of things, and that removes your heart basically.
Yeah,
So that got
yeah,
me
yeah.
into a bit of a wrong path. And then I realized in a moment, actually, when I was in summer in Colombia, one of my big friends, like I love that guy. I was talking with him, like I was just telling him everything that I was doing and all of that, and he just told me out of nothing, um, "What are you doing? Like this is not you." And I felt
Mm.
that that was God speaking through him. Like I would tell him
Mm.
later when I realized it, and that shocked me. Like that shook me out of my foundation. Like I was like, wait a second, he's right. Like this is not me. I was never like this. I was just so caught up in this matter of experiencing life, like seeing what would happen if.
Mm.
Just try to live up for the experience, which never truly has a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And it's so vague and empty that that simple like sentence basically shook my head. Like I didn't even know what to do. And after that, I came back here to Miami after summer. And I actually, funny enough, I got into my phone and I was like, yeah, I need to go to church.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, Google Maps, let's look for a church. Closest church by 6 minutes. And that's where I went with the to the church I'm still going to, lifted. And yeah, I've been since then, I've been growing closer to God. It's not an
Mm.
instantaneous change, but yeah.
Um, One of the things that you mentioned about how religion, this is kind of how I took it. That religion is it's like a vehicle, but the essence, what God really seeks for us is our heart. And I do agree with you on that. I think religion is the vehicle that allows us to stay connected, to stay kind of that reminder to give our life to God, and to be in communion. I know God talks about where there is two, I am there. But I think in all essence, when we are with ourselves, um, are we really giving our lives to God? Are we living for His eyes? There's an analogy that's incredible, and is imagine you're in the middle of a field, of a stadium, and in one side is Jesus Christ, and on the other side is the society. Who are you facing? Which way are you facing, and who are you living for? And so that analogy really shocked, because I'm like, wow. So if I generally are giving my life to God, then I need to live my life for Him. Do things for His eyes, not society's eyes. So my whole approach in life definitely changed. Uh, you know.
Yeah, like I would say we basically everything that we do doesn't really have it does has repercussions in all of it, but we do it because he gave us grace. Like everything that we do is because he died for us. He gave his life. So it's more about being grateful for what he did that
Mhm.
than what we do will actually change him. No. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't truly matter what we do. Like he will still be doing his purpose. Like he will still be having like a purpose for you, but it's more about truly like surrendering to him and realizing that yeah, like Jesus died for me on a cross. Like everyone would just think, yeah, he just died. Like he didn't really suffer. No, like he got. If I'm not wrong, I may be wrong with this,
Mm.
but he got whipped 39 times, and we're talking about a whip that has 9 tails,
Mm.
and this whip has either had metal pallets or shards of sheep bones.
Mm.
So you was just think
Wow.
39 times. And why 39 times? Because I actually read this like a
Mm.
few days ago. Because 40 was the legal maximum penalty in the Roman Empire. So he got like literally the maximum amount of whips
Wow.
a human could ever get. And even so, he did that. He still carried the cross onto cavalry and get nailed onto it. And still, like, even after all of that and being spit on and being hated on, people were still telling him, why don't you save yourself if you're God?
Mm-hmm.
And he will still pray to the Father to save them. That's when the famous quote will say, like, God, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. So it's so impressive the amount of love he has for us. That even though we fail him, even though we may be led astray, you're never too far off to come to him.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful what you're saying, and I was actually just having a conversation last night with someone about God's love, and I was amazed because I myself sit down and I was reflecting one day, and I was like, wow, like there's certain people in my life that there's certain characteristics that I don't really align with, and I think like God loves us with our mistakes, with our downfalls.
Okay.
He loves us unconditionally. Is the word I'm looking for, and it's such a massive love that it's like I always pray to God to help me love more. You
Yeah.
know, and I think it's very inspiring.
Yeah,
Also.
like he does love us because God is love himself.
Mm.
In Romans, it speaks about basically the whole law being summed up in love thy neighbor as yourself. So he teaches us to love, but he will always, always hate sin. That's the thing.
Mm.
There's a difference. So he will always love us. He will always seek for our hearts. He will always seek to have a relationship with us, but he will always have a continuous hate towards sin
Mm.
because sin is no good.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he teaches you not to sin. Because if you really and truly get into the gist of it,
Mm-hmm.
like you realize sin's not good for you. Like it's like I have this analogy as well for it that I actually thought about it yesterday. It's like French fries. You know, they taste so good. They taste really good.
Mm.
Like
I love
fried
French
food, like
fries.
not
Yeah.
not only French fries, but yeah, it tastes so good to eat it. But is it actually good for you? Like, if you get to the actual health part of it, it's
Mm-hmm.
not good for you. If you eat only French fries as a side dish for all of your life, you cut your life in half. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna last that long.
Yeah.
So it's realizing that even though it may feel good to do it, it doesn't mean it's good.
Mm.
So
Kind of putting aside the pleasure and seeing, okay, is this generally good for me and not only health wise but spiritually, you know? And so that kind of segues into I'm thinking of purpose right now, and you mentioned when you had that time, that wake up call in a way with your friend who told you, hey,
yeah.
like this is not you. You mentioned the word purpose, and so what would you say gives you purpose in your life now, or is your purpose?
Um. Well, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I would say God gives me purpose. I have like whenever I surrender to Him, I surrender my purpose. I surrender basically everything to
Mm.
Him, and yeah, I just live for Him. And I'm not perfect. Like I'm not saying, yeah, I didn't surrender my life. Like I do it every single day. Like I'm perfect every single day. No, I'm not. Trust me. Like there's not a single human being that
Mm.
you'll find that it's perfect. That's well, apart from Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like he is the only one that gives me purpose, and everything else comes as an addition to it. So yeah,
Everything comes as an addition. Yeah,
yeah,
I was recording last week with a friend called Amir, and he mentioned that when we prioritize God in our life, when we make him the center, everything else comes in addition.
Yeah.
And I think that's really true.
There's a Bible
Yeah.
verse actually about it that it says, "Seek ye the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be added."
Mm.
I don't know exactly the verse. I'm bad for
Yeah.
not knowing, but
No,
but yeah,
yeah,
it's that one.
it's true. Now, I wanted to ask you a question, segueing a little bit, talking about loss and purpose. Now, have you ever experienced any loss in your life?
It's mostly about that loss of identity.
Mm.
Like I lost like basically everything I really truly knew, because at the beginning I had this perception about life. When I was in Colombia, when I was growing up, I didn't really have a purpose. Like I didn't really knew what I lived for. Like I
Mm.
just lived by the day. Like I'm just gonna get good grades. I'm just gonna have the most fun I can have. I'm just gonna do whatever I can do. And I really didn't have an identity.
Mm.
So it's more about feeling lost throughout life. And I would say that was a grieving process that I went
Yeah.
through when I learned stoicism as well. Because I realized it. Like I realized I truly had a hole in my heart. I had something empty. And something else that also relates to the question. Losing my family from not being able to see them every
Mm.
single day, to being here. At the beginning, I was tough because I was basically always feeling alone. I didn't
Mm.
really feel like I fit in.
Yeah.
But then I kind of got through it with God. Like, honestly, that's the best. That's the best, not replacement, but filling. Like, He could always fill that empty hole that you will always have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of like we're always, as human beings, like the nature is, we're always gonna strive for more. We're always gonna want more and more from the things we don't have. And so it's like when you look at it from there, okay, you back away from that, and you're like, okay, as an essence, as a human being, I feel like when we have God's presence, it completes us. You know, so like, yeah, outside of me, there's things that are going on that maybe I'm not very happy about, or maybe that I'm navigating through. But in all essence, I feel at peace because I know God is with me. You know, I think there's something very beautiful about that. You mentioned this friend of yours who was someone that seems like was key to kind of wake you up into realization. Was there any other people in your life who were key in your process of all these challenges that you faced?
The first person that actually got me into knowing or having a closer relationship with God was literally my nun. We're four children, so my
Mm.
parents did needed someone to help them out.
Yeah.
And in
Your
Colombia,
nan.
yeah, Nan,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So she would work on my house, basically for a year before I was born till I was
Oh,
18.
wow. So you were 18.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a crazy long
Yeah.
time, but she was basically, and she knows it. She's like my second mother. She's helped me a lot through it, and she's always trying to remember me, like God exists. Like she's never pushed me towards doing anything I didn't want to, like push me towards a religion or doing something.
Yeah.
But she would always give me that reminder, and she would always be so loving that she truly showed me the love of Jesus through
Mm.
her. Like I know God used her to show me His love through her, and yeah, she was definitely key in it. After that, I would say Juan, one of my friends from church.
Mm.
He's one of my best friends. He has been helping me and mentoring me actually through the whole process. And yeah, he's a man of God. I learned a lot through it. Okay.
Your nanny, she was around till you were 18 years old. You know, that's quite a long time, you know. Um you mentioned how just her way of being was very impactful. The way she showed her love. Like, could you explain that a little more? Like, what how was your nanny, like, as far as, describing her way of being?
Her way of being, she would always, whenever I had a conflict or I fought or have an issue, she would always like try to um, give me biblical advice,
Mm.
trying to guide me through it. For example, whenever I was mad with my mom, when I was like fighting with her, she would always tell me like, there's no reason you should actually fight with her. Like whenever you fight with someone, it's because you're giving them a reason. Because it takes two to fight,
Hmm.
actually.
Yeah.
So she would always be so wise about it that I would learn so much and how to guide through different issues and difficulties that I think we all have in our households.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely that.
She sounds like she was just very in tune with herself and very very calming. It
Yeah.
sounds like very stoic in some sense, because she was like, it seems like she would kind of analyze the situation and be like, okay, wait, what's really the best way to go about this? And then she would use, you say, like, biblical reference to go about it. And I think that's very impactful. I generally believe that God did use her as an instrument, and I think God uses people in our life as instruments to help us transition through our life,
Yep.
and grow closer to Him.
Yep.
I've had definitely situations where I've had people in front of me that, when I reflect, I can identify like God was present there. Like that there was a purpose that was being filled there. Because I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for those moments, for those certain people that I encountered.
Yeah.
So I think that's really powerful. And I think that when we have that present with us, that God can use people as instruments to help us in our life, I think that allows us to appreciate a lot more the people that we encounter in our life. So we remove ourselves from this superficial level with our connection with people to this deeper level of, like, okay, why are you in my life, and what's God's purpose here? And I think that allows us to really fulfill um, fulfill God's plan.
Yeah, totally. Like, it's funny because we don't really realize how much of a dent, in a way, can someone do in our life until you meet them in the gym.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's so funny how simple interactions like could just develop like this large chain of reactions in a way.
Mm.
So yeah, and how people shape you, because you learn a lot from other people. Like even though you don't agree with them, you still learn.
Yeah.
Like you learn that you don't agree, actually. And yeah, I just feel like those simple interactions do so much. Like actually being able to get out of the shell in a way, get out of the bubble, because it's not as easy to actually just interact with anyone that's around you because you don't really know them.
Mm.
And I think we all go through it, through a process that we don't have that. We're not that extrovert. Well, there's people that are truly born with that and are blessed with being an extrovert, but there's a large majority of people that don't truly like take that step, and you actually don't know how much good could that make in your life for just taking that simple step to say hi.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is a question that I actually heard from a philosopher and also a writer from Spain, and this is a question he asked his students because he's a professor. And I wrote it down here because I wanted to ask you this question as well. And it's, if you were told that you had 30 days left of your life, what would you do?
Stuff, stuff. Like, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. First of all, saying it is way easier than doing it. Like, I could tell you, like, yeah, I would do all this awesome and great things, but I wouldn't truly know until I'm in that position. But like as of right now, I would tell you like I would start to giving it all away. Like I don't truly know. I would just stay with things. I would truly gave my life to Christ. Like, yeah, I've done it, yeah, but like I would surrender every single thing.
It's an alarming question. It
Yeah.
alarms you inside because you're like, okay. But I think it's when I heard that question, it made me think because usually things that come up when after you ask a certain question is, okay, what things am I leaving aside that I'm not doing now that I would want to do before the 30 days are up?
Yeah.
It's usually those things that we're not doing is what we should be doing, what we should be living. You know, I remember this professor was saying how his students generally tend to say things like, "Oh, I would forgive this person," or "I would give thanks to my parents for everything they've done," or um, and he would say, "Man, you would have to wait till the last 30 days to do
To
that,"
yeah.
and it makes you think like, okay, what else am I not doing in my life now that I should be doing, you know? And why do we have to wait until a dramatic moment, a tragic moment to be grateful and
Yeah.
to do the things that we truly want to do?
Oh yeah, like I do feel we should show love and gratefulness every single day.
Yeah.
Like being grateful for every single interaction. Like just saying thank you to, for example, a barista that just served you a cup of coffee. Just that simple, like little steps, making it a habit, being grateful and thankful for every single thing. Like I feel like that fills you with so and like an easiness in your life that yeah, like I truly don't know how to answer that question if I'm being honest.
Something to think about for
But yeah,
sure.
I'm definitely gonna reflect on that once I get out this door.
What advice could you give somebody that maybe has left the country to a new country on their own and having a difficult time and adjusting? What
Um,
advice would you give to that person?
Been more of an extrovert, trying to get to know more people, trying to interact with others, like getting to know the culture around, trying to kind of learn about how we move in like in between the culture. Because if you don't do that, you'll actually just feel left out like every single place and every single time you go anywhere.
Mm.
So trying to learn more about it. It's definitely like one of the things I would recommend them. Second of all, trying to truly seek the reason and the purpose they live for. Like trying to get more into actually nitpicking and reading and learning. This is actually like a learning process. For
Mm.
example, for me, in my relationship with God, it was a learning process. Like I started reading and learning more about God. Learn and be more of an extrovert.
Thank you, Carlos, for making the time again, for sharing all these insights, all your experiences, which I'm sure have not only served me, but have served whoever's watching. So, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I would just want to say thank you, Tulio. I really appreciate you inviting me and taking your time as well. Like it's not only my time, it's as well yours. And I'm really grateful for this friendship and for what men we have become
Yeah.
over the years.
Again, I'm excited for what's to come.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, brother.
And guys, stay tuned for the upcoming episodes as well. If you haven't watched last episodes that I did with Amir, then go give it a watch and stay tuned. So make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one in Finding Purpose. Bye-bye.